Hello, welcome to part 3 of fluid. Okay, just a wee quick look at sports drinks versus water. Okay, in terms of fluid, obviously both have got fluid, so sports drinks got fluid and water's obviously got fluid, so both will replace fluid. Electrolytes, we said before, used to help used to promote thirst in drink, and also needed for fluid balance in the body. So water doesn't tend to have these, sports drink does, so obviously it will encourage drink and it'll also help with replacing any electrolytes lost in things like the sweat. Obviously water has got a taste, it's up to you to decide. Often said to be tasteless. Obviously there's some sort of taste off water. We introduce things like fluoride and stuff into water, so there's often something of a taste there. But obviously sports drink, very definitely has a taste to it. The taste should be, as I said before, light, something that's palatable, particularly when you've been exercising for a long time and you're warm and sweaty and tired. Energy, obviously water again, no energy in it. There's no carbohydrates, no fats, no protein in it. It's just water. Okay, so it doesn't provide any energy. Whereas a sports drink will provide energy depending on the sports drink. It might be an isotonic, it might be a hypotonic, or it might be a hypertonic drink. But all three will provide some form of carbohydrates, and many of the newer sports drinks also have some protein added to them as well. Can water help avoid fatigue? It's got no there with a question mark. Obviously dehydration can cause fatigue, therefore water can help in some ways prevent fatigue. However, it can't avoid that fatigue that comes from lack of carbohydrate and the muscle glycogen levels going down below optimal levels and slowing you down, whereas a sports drink can help avoid that type of fatigue. Is there dental issues with water? No. We said before, actually you can use the water to help rinse your teeth if you have been eating a sports gel or something, or drinking a sports drink. Whereas there are dental issues obviously with a sports drink because there are sugars in that sports drink. Okay, so very brief, very quick comparison and contrast of sports drinks versus water. Be careful with isotonic sports drinks. Okay, they're not as high in carbohydrate as something like Coke, but there is carbohydrate in there is calories in there, so you do have to be careful. So restrict isotonic sports drinks if you are only exercising for short periods of time. We said before in one of the other talks that exercising for less than an hour, you're probably actually not needing to take on board any real carbohydrates as long as you've started out adequately fueled. Over an hour then you are starting to take them. So the person going to the gym for half an hour to try and maintain weight or control weight and suddenly taking a sports drink is actually doing away with some of that benefit of the exercise and probably better off drinking water. If you're on a special diet, again obviously you're taking on board sugars, so if you have something like diabetes then you have to be careful again with a sports drink and controlling your blood sugar levels. Back to the first point we talked about, if you're attempting to lose weight, then an isotonic sports drink has to be counted as that part of that daily plan, and quite often people forget to count that in because it is a drink. So any carbohydrate you're taking on board in that sports drink has to be looked at as part of your overall energy intake for the day compared to what you're burning off. So weight loss programs avoid maybe that continually having a sports drink in your hand because you're continually sipping away at carbohydrate. If you're making weight for a specific sport, sports waters may be more useful, so something to use just to purely hydrate rather than to provide fuel as well. If you are watching your weight, isotonic sports drinks contain approximately about 140 calories per 500 milliliter bottle, and most of the bottles now you get are around about that half a litre mark. So about 140 kilocalories per bottle. This will have to be calculated into overall calorie intake and may reduce the amount of food that you can eat. And obviously, sometimes some of the sports drinks will have some vitamins and minerals added, but mostly they don't. It's electrolytes and it's a bit of carbohydrate, a mixture of carbohydrates. Therefore, you're missing out then on carbohydrates you can take with food at some other stage, and you're probably then missing out on vitamins and minerals. Low-calorie hypotonic sports drinks contain about 50 calories per 500 milliliter bottle or half-litre bottle. So obviously those, nearly a third of the calories So not quite as much to have to worry about in terms of then cutting down other carbs for the day and maintaining maybe better vitamin mineral content when you're eating it through your food. Benefits of a sports drink, commercial or homemade. Sports drinks contain fuel that help replenish energy stores, obviously. Isotonic drinks are especially designed to be absorbed faster than water. So they'll actually be absorbed faster than drinking just plain water, so you can rehydrate quicker with them. And notice say isotonic drinks rather than hypertonic drinks. If there's too much stuff, too much carbohydrate in the drink, then it will actually slow down absorption of the fluid. Higher concentration of electrolytes, salts allows more fluid retention. You urinate less than water alone, and also encourages you to drink water. One of the problems quite often in terms of athletes, team sports tend to have more problems with hydration and taking sports drinks during an event than sort of running type events or endurance type events. So try to consume fluids at breaks that naturally occur, for example injury times or freeze, penalties between heats, etc. But no less frequently than once every 15 minutes if possible. Naturally occurring longer breaks, half times, timeouts, run and bench should be considered an opportunity to replenish fluids to a greater extent. This is very, very difficult to do, and it's all very well somebody saying every 15 minutes, and I know that can be difficult. But if there is an opportunity to replenish fluid during the match, then take that opportunity and every opportunity that you get. Endurance athletes and marathon runners should consume a fluid at least about every 5 kilometres or so. So you should be looking to try and take something about every 5k or thereabouts. Triathletes should consume fluids about every 10 kilometres during the cycle and every 2 to 4 during the run. With some triathletes, you'll find that they take on board a lot more during the start of the bike, particularly if it's something like foods, like the sort of gel and stuff like that, because hopefully they absorb them by the time they come out on the run, and less then gastric sort of problems, gastrointestinal problems. So about every 10k or so if you can during the bike, and every sort of 2 to 4 kilometres during the run if possible. Intermediate events, consume fluids between events. Runners should consume fluids every 5 kilometres if possible. Rowers should bring a container with them in the boat and use after each paddle. Have more fluid on the land for whenever the event finishes. Short events, less than 30 minutes. Consume fluids between events, but not within 15 minutes. Okay, because again, it can cause bloating, and if it's carbohydrate, it can cause problems as well. As the duration is short, it's not required during the actual event itself, but will be required between heats, obviously, if there's heats, or during the course of an entire competition. So something like, say, a fencing competition where you've got multiple bouts, it can be hard to take drinks on board during the bout, but you can certainly take them on board between bouts during the day. As we said before, in these things, remember your teeth. Okay, so think about teeth and that water with the carbohydrate or sugars in it swirling around your teeth. So make sure you brush and floss your teeth regularly. Try and chew sugar-free gum. That'll help increase saliva in the mouth and cut down on mouth acidity. Use a squeezy bottle or drink from a straw if possible, rather than always drinking fully from a cup. Drink should be lightly chilled if possible, and where you can, rinse your mouth out with water after you've drunk a sports drink, okay, or eaten something like a gel or whatever that's sticky around the teeth. So thanks very much for your time with these 3 parts for this fluid session. For more information, you can log on to Coachaid Ireland website. You've got Lucas Aid Sports Science Nutrition Centre there. There's vast amounts of sites out there that can be used. There's other sports drink sites such as Gatorade, Sports Science Institute site. Lots of stuff around the web in terms of fluid and fueling up during an event. Just be careful. Some things are obviously trying to sell you product, so try to go to neutral sites for neutral advice where possible. Thanks very much.